To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Have you ever wondered how many times you've stopped yourself from doing something you love or from being your true self just to please others? How many times have you looked around seeking approval or hidden behind a behavior that doesn't reflect your essence just to fit into other people's expectations? Today, I want to take you on a journey that could completely transform the way you see your life and, more importantly, how you live it. This isn't about pleasing others or following the rules society has imposed on you. It's about unlocking the true power of living for yourself. What you're about to discover goes far beyond cliches or ready-made formulas about self-confidence. This isn't just about the idea of being yourself. It's a deeper understanding that connects your soul to true freedom. Imagine a key that can unlock a new path, where every decision you make reflects your true essence, where every moment lived authentically has the power to transform your life and your destiny. Get ready. What I'm about to reveal isn't just a reflection, it's an awakening. When you understand this, you'll realize that living to please others will never be an option again, and more. You'll gain the tools to build a life that's entirely yours, free from fear, free from insecurity, a life aligned with your deepest desires. But pay attention. The end of this journey holds the most important secret, an insight so powerful that it could forever change how you view your choices and your freedom. Don't overlook this moment, because once you understand it, you'll never again be a slave to anyone's opinions. But how do you take that step? How do you break the chains that bind you to a life of pleasing others? Let's explore that deeply right now, because by the end of this, you'll be amazed by the strength that's been inside you all along, waiting to be unleashed. Imagine this. You wake up, look at yourself in the mirror, and think about how you'll act that day. But instead of thinking about what makes you happy, about what inspires you, you ask yourself, what will others think of me? Unfortunately, this is the reality for so many people. We live a life shaped by others' perceptions, by judgment, by expectations. Society, with its unspoken rules, often forces us to focus on everyone around us, except ourselves. The fear of judgment is one of the cruelest prisons, and worse, it begins in childhood. How many times while growing up were you taught to behave and be accepted? And so, you began seeking validation in everything you did, not because you wanted to, but because you feared how others would see you. Have you noticed this? How it drains your energy, dims the brilliance of who you could be, and traps you in a constant struggle to adapt. Every choice you make, every decision, even the simplest ones, passes through the filter of how others might react. And this endless search for approval traps us in a cycle of dissatisfaction and anxiety. Now let me ask you something. What would your life be like if, for just one day, you could live without worrying about what others think? What if you made decisions based on what you truly want, instead of what others expect of you? Here's the hard truth. External acceptance will never be enough to fill the emptiness inside. You can be the most admired, the most popular, the most approved person, and yet, deep down, you might still feel like something is missing. That lack of connection with yourself, that distance from your own essence, is what creates suffering and the feeling of being lost. When you constantly seek others' approval, you lose yourself along the way. Your identity dissolves into the expectations others have of you. But here's the problem. Those people don't live your life. They don't carry your dreams, your ambitions, or your inner struggles. There's no point in collecting applause if, in the end, you're far from who you truly are. True acceptance comes from within, from the understanding that you are enough just as you are. When you finally break free from the chains of seeking approval, you'll discover an immense strength that's always been inside you. So what do you need to do to achieve this freedom? The first step is to start looking inward and asking yourself, who am I really? What do I want for my life beyond others' expectations? Did you know that authenticity is the key to a happier, more fulfilled life? When you allow yourself to be true to who you really are, you begin to align with your purpose and attract the things that truly matter. Living authentically means making choices that reflect who you are, not who others want you to be. It means letting go of the fear of judgment and freeing yourself once and for all from the prison of external expectations. And this isn't easy. It takes courage. It takes confidence. Imagine living each day with the confidence that you are exactly who you need to be without worrying about what others might think. Imagine the freedom of living according to your own values, not the standards society imposes. This freedom starts with the decision to take the first step to stop worrying about others' opinions. When you start doing this, you'll realize that true happiness comes from within. It doesn't depend on anyone or anything outside of you. It comes from the simple act of being who you are. And now, you might be wondering, how do I begin? How do I take that first step toward freedom and authenticity? Let's talk about that. But before we dive deeper into the true reason behind living for yourself and how that can transform the way you see life and others' judgments, I need to ask you, have you ever felt that there's something inside you, something deep that's crying out to be heard, something pushing you to live authentically without worrying about what others think? If you're beginning to sense that your life holds immense power, that you are capable of living free from others' expectations, then stay with me. In the next few moments, I'll share powerful truths about self-discovery and inner freedom, which could be the key to unlocking your full potential and finally living as your true self. Stay with me until the end, because the best is yet to come. And I promise you won't want to miss the revelation that could change the way you see life and the weight of others' opinions. The first step to stop being a slave to other people's opinions is to decide to be yourself, regardless of what others think. But this is not an easy decision, as it requires abandoning old behavior patterns, those you've adopted over the years out of fear, insecurity, or the desire for acceptance. So the question is, how can you start being true to yourself? How can you stop being held captive by others' judgments? The answer is simple yet powerful. Practice self-acceptance. This means looking at yourself, your flaws, imperfections, and virtues, and loving yourself just as you are. Self-acceptance is the foundation of emotional freedom. When you accept yourself, you no longer need others' approval to feel complete. What others think of you no longer has the power to define your worth. And as you accept yourself, you begin to attract people who also accept you without judgment or unrealistic expectations. When you stop living for others, you'll discover a new energy. You'll notice that by letting go of the need for validation, you become more self-assured and confident. This confidence, which comes from within, doesn't rely on anything external. It's unshakable because it's rooted in your own essence. You'll realize that everything you need to be happy and fulfilled is already inside you. And when you free yourself from the prison of others' opinions, you become unstoppable. Your decisions will be based on what truly matters to you, and your life will start aligning in remarkable ways. Your life will begin to reflect your truth. Now pause for a moment and imagine living for yourself. What would your life be like if you finally let go of the fear of judgment and began living with courage and authenticity? The freedom you're searching for lies within you. It begins when you decide to stop being a slave to others' opinions and start living for yourself. You are unique, and your essence is valuable exactly as it is. The life you deserve is one that is authentic, true, and whole, where you are free to be who you truly are. What you'll discover is that by stopping the chase for others' approval, you'll start living a life that's truly yours. You'll experience an inner peace that can't be found in others' opinions or applause. Because believe me, when you set yourself free, when you allow yourself to be who you are, the world begins to align in magical ways. You start attracting everything that is truly good because you are finally in harmony with yourself. So what are you waiting for? Change starts now. You have the power to be free. You have the ability to live the life of your dreams without needing anyone's approval but the most important person's, your own. Now let's talk about how to make this transition. How do you move from a life where you're trapped by others' opinions to a life where you are in control of your own choices? First, practice detachment. This doesn't mean being insensitive to others' feelings, but rather understanding that your worth doesn't depend on what others think about you. By adopting this mindset, you begin to free yourself from the chains of fear and insecurity. When you detach yourself from the need for external approval, you start making decisions that are more aligned with your deeper self. It doesn't matter what others think about the path you've chosen. What matters is that you're following your heart, that you're being authentic. That alone brings a sense of peace and satisfaction. And as you make these authentic decisions, you'll notice that the world, in its own way, begins to open doors. New opportunities arise, new friendships blossom, and the universe begins to work in your favor. But most importantly, you start trusting yourself, and that trust becomes a solid foundation upon which you can build everything you desire. Now let's delve into something even deeper: self-love. To live for yourself and not for others, you need to learn to love yourself unconditionally. Self-love is the fuel that will drive your journey toward authenticity and freedom. Have you noticed how easy it is to criticize, pressure, and compare yourself to others? Sometimes, the biggest barrier to our freedom is the way we treat ourselves. When we see ourselves through the lenses of judgment, fear, and doubt, we fail to recognize our true worth. But what if you started looking at yourself with more compassion? What if you embraced your flaws, your imperfections, and accepted them as part of your journey? Self-love doesn't mean thinking you're perfect. It means realizing that you're enough, just as you are. Now, I know the idea of freeing yourself from others' judgments can be a little scary. What will people think of me? What if I'm rejected? These fears are natural, but at the same time, these fears are what hold you back from being who you truly are. I challenge you to face these fears. Each time you feel tempted to worry about what others think, ask yourself, what do I really want for my life? The fear of rejection fades when you realize that by living authentically, you attract the right people, those who genuinely support and accept you as you are. When you decide to live for yourself, your life gains new purpose. You become the protagonist of your story, not just a spectator. The decisions you make become more aligned with your purpose, and you begin to feel a genuine connection to what truly matters to you. You'll start to notice that by letting go of the need for approval, you gain something even more valuable: your freedom, your inner peace. And by living this way, you'll experience a happiness that can't be found in anything external because it comes from within. Now take a deep breath, look within, and feel the strength of your true self. You are ready to live the life of your dreams, without fear, without insecurity. You are ready to live for you.